All right, Roby Helm back with you up here in the tower. We have started B main number 1. Top 2 going to transfer into the big show. Jared Delk out front in the car 118. Jason Garver running second in that 74 car. Kyle Van Sickle on the outside looking in the 3K car. There's your leader, Delk, into turn number 1. 74, Garver in second. Van Sickle trying to close in on him. He's just a couple of car lengths from being in the big show. He'll go to the inside in turn number 4. Side-by-side battle for the second and final transfer spot in B main number 1. Van Sickle can get up to the left rear quarter panel of Garver, but can't quite get to the door. He'll try again on the inside of turn 4 this time. Garver pulling out. He's got 0.4 of a second, but he's 1.1 second behind the race leader, Jared Delk. Garver in a position to make the big show, running second. Van Sickle outside looking in, trying to reel him back in. 15 laps the distance. Flagman going to show him the cross flags this time by. We're at the halfway point, 7 down, 8 to go. Your leader, Jared Delk, he's got a big lead, 1.7 seconds over Jason Garver, but Garver is busy. Here comes Kyle Van Sickle in the 3K. He's third on the outside looking in. He closed up to the back bumper of Garver on that last lap, but here comes Randy Weaver. Randy Weaver drives underneath Van Sickle and now sets his sights on Jason Garver to make the big show. He's running out of laps to catch him. That little battle there enabled Garver to pull out to a 1 second advantage over Randy Weaver. 9 laps in books, 6 to go. Randy Weaver, he's pedaling hard in that 17 car. That's the CBR house car. Van Sickle trying to gain back that third spot, and when they do, that just opens up a little more ground for Jason Garver. 11 down and 4 to go. There's your second place car, Jason Garver. And there's your leader, Jared Delk, in the 118 car. $12 down, 3 to go. Randy Weaver shaved off a couple of tenths of a second on that lap, but he's running out of time and a lot of real estate to make up. This time by, it'll be 2 to go. There's your leader, Jared Delk, trying to race his way into the $20,000 to win main event. He'll bring it off a 2 down the back straightaway. Randy Weaver beginning to close in on Jason Garver. He's got 1 lap to do it. Here he comes, Randy Weaver in the 17 car. They'll battle into turn 1. Jared Delk, he is gone. He has got a 2.9 second lead, but the battle's for the second and final transfer spot. It's do or die for Randy Weaver. Delk will take the win. Here comes your battle for second. It'll be Jason Garver hanging on to second over Randy Weaver by 22 100ths of a second. So right down to the wire, taking your win in the 118 car from the outside front row from Jamestown, Tennessee. How about a nice round of applause for your first B main winner, Jared Delk, coming home in second in car number 24 out of Stark, Florida, Jason Garver. And Randy Weaver missed it by 22 100ths of a second to make the big show. So some good racing action in B main number 1 coming up next.
Crown Vics to staging, please, for your heat race. Crown Vics, come to staging for your heat race.
Coming up next, it'll be B main number 2. 15 laps the distance. Top 2 go on to the main event. Starting on the pole position in the 18B out of Macon, Georgia, it'll be Hunter Peacock. Outside row 1 out of Blackshear, Georgia, in car number 25, Hunter Carter. Christo out of Stanley, North Carolina, starts on the inside of row 2 in car number 52. Outside the second row in car number 28 from Kite, Georgia, it'll be Henry Carter. Row 3 on the inside from Blackshear, Georgia, in car number 44, Carmen Boyd. Outside row 3 in the 03 car from Yulee, Florida, Maury West. Fourth row on the inside, car number 21 from Hall, Georgia, for Nathan Bray. Outside the fourth row, it'll be car number 3, Philip Pittman out of Vidalia, Georgia. And starting scratch on the field in car number 10 from Moultrie, Georgia, Ty Giles. That's your starting lineup. B-Main number 2, 15 laps the distance, top 2. Transfer into the $20,000 to win main event. Field getting the 1-to-go signal. If everything looks good, we'll go green when they get to the starting box in turn 4. And they call off the 1-to-go. Caution flag out. We got one slow on the speedway. The 3-car, Philip Pittman, having some issues. So Pittman gets it going. He'll rejoin the field at the tail. Field will get the 1-to-go signal this time by. Hunter Peacock, the veteran out of Macon, Georgia, going to start on the pole position in the 18B. Hunter Carter out of that famous racing family out of Blackshear, Georgia, in car number 25. He'll start on the outside front row. They'll bring him down the back straightaway as the field bunches up for the start of B-Main number 2. Got to be in the top 2 at the checkered flag to make the main event. And they approach the starting box in turn number 4. They're in it. They're on it. Green flag's out. We're racing. It'll be Hunter Peacock leading down into turn number 1 with the 25. A Carter in second. One car down on the inside, moving up into third. Coming down to complete lap number 1, it'll be Hunter Peacock, Hunter Carter, Carmen Boyd in the 44 running third on the outside looking in. But he's right there on Hunter Carter off a 2 down the back straightaway. Here's your battle for the second and final transfer spot. It'll be Carter gets loose in turn 4. There goes Carmen Boyd up into that second spot. So Carter got a little bit loose, gathering it back up. He'll have to try to reel Carmen Boyd back in for that second and final transfer spot. Hunter Peacock out in front. Carmen Boyd trying to reel him in. Boyd now within 0.6 of a second. That's about 3 car lengths as they come off the 2 down the back straightaway. Here's your battle for the lead. Hunter Peacock working the middle groove of the racetrack. Here comes Boyd on the inside trying to get a run down the front straightaway. Gets up to the door in turn number 1. Door side by side and taking the lead. It'll be Carmen Boyd down the back straightaway. He clears the 18 of Hunter Peacock. In turn 4, coming down, stretching it out. New leader, Carmen Boyd in car number 44. Boyd came from the 5th starting spot in car 44 out of Blackshear, Georgia. So they're at the halfway point. 7 down, 8 to go. Carmen Boyd opens up a 1.4 second advantage over Hunter Peacock. Hunter Peacock with a 1.6 second advantage over Hunter Carter in the 3rd spot. Hunter Carter, the first driver on the outside looking in. Top three pretty much pulling away from the rest of the field. Carter has a 6-second advantage, and the caution flag comes out. Had one car stall down the front straightaway. Christo in the 52 car with trouble out of Stanley, North Carolina. Brings out the caution flag. Just past the halfway point, 8 laps down, 7 to go. We'll now line up for the Dixie-style double file restart. So the 18B, Hunter Peacock, will choose the inside or the outside. So Hunter Peacock going to choose the inside, the third place car. Hunter Carter will be alongside to his right on the outside, field doubling up behind the race leader, Carmen Boyd, in car number 44. Field getting the 1-to-go signal. If everything looks good, we'll go green next time around. 8 laps complete, 7 to go. So Hunter Peacock chose the inside, so he's hoping that'll give him the advantage to keep Hunter Carter behind him. Hunter Carter in third spot on the outside looking in. Top 2 go on to the main event. Field rolls up to the restart box. Green flag is out, and we're racing. And Carter trying to get in front. Oh, they make contact in turn 1. Battle for that second spot. They're still trading sheet metal off the 2 down the back straightaway. Hunter Carter wrestles away that second spot. And here comes Peacock looking for more action in turn 1. Peacock getting to the inside of Carter. They'll battle off of turn 2. Carter gets a little bit loose in 4. Peacock will look to the outside. Carter moves up for the block in turn number 1. It'll be Peacock back down to the inside. This is the battle for whether you're in or out of the show. The battle for second. Carmen Boyd is a full straightaway in front of this battle for second. He's out there by his lonesome. He's in a different zip code in that 44 car. With 4 laps to go, he's packed his bags, turned into key, and checked out on the field. There's your battle for second, way behind him. And Carter has opened up about a 5-car length advantage now over Hunter Peacock in the 18 car. Peacock pedaling hard, trying to catch him as the laps wind down. 2 to go signal being shown to the leaders. Peacock trying to close the gap as they work turn number 1. Carmen Boyd is out and gone. He'll take the white flag as he comes off of turn 4. The battle for second is what we're looking for as they battle right down to the wire. There is Carter in second. There's the 18 of Hunter Peacock. He's got a half a lap as the checkered flag comes out for Carmen Boyd. Here comes your battle for second. It's going to be Hunter Carter finishing second. And Hunter Peacock will be on the outside looking in car number 18. So coming home with the win, starting 5th and taking the checkered flag out of Blackshear, Georgia. How about a nice round of applause for your winner? In car 44, Carmen Boyd Coming home in second in the 25 car out of Blackshear, Georgia, it'll be Hunter Carter. So those two will go on to the big show. 24-car field is set, and it'll be coming up very shortly. It'll be the second feature out tonight. Still got Crown Vic heat races coming up, and then we'll go right into our main events.
Last call, driver. Last call for heat number 1 for Crown Vics. If you're in heat 1, you should be at staging. Heat 2, you should be at staging as well. Final call for Crown Vics, heat 1. If you're not there, we're fixing to roll without you.
All right, we're getting ready for heat race action with the Crown Vics, and I'll turn it over to Mike Foreman.
Yes, sir. We got 24 entries. Going to have 2 heat races. Heat number 1 is going to consist of 8 laps. They'll all transfer to the A feature, as well as heat 2. We'll have 8 laps as well. Got a few stragglers waiting to get to staging there, so we can go ahead and roll that first heat race out.
Let's do a one-to-go signal this time. Okay, guys, the 604 late model A main grid is complete and ready to go down. Ready for the first heat for Crown Vic? Roll them. Roll them.
All right, heat race number 1 about to come off the grid. We're looking at inside row 1, the car 9J, Justin Stevens out of Guyton, Georgia. Outside row 1 is 301 of Jason Garver out of Stock, Florida. Inside row 2, car number 19, Zachary Bates out of Springfield, Georgia. Outside, Brian Barnes out of Bloomingdale driving that car number 4. Inside row 3, car number 54, Kyle Rollins out of Uvalde, Georgia. Outside of him, the 14 of Turner Davis out of Guyton. Inside row 4, car 144, William Gross out of Bloomingdale, Georgia. Outside of him is the 12J, Joseph Thompson out of Elbell, Georgia. Inside row 5, HC of Jake Bullard out of Townsend, Georgia. The 13W on the outside of him, Olvin Williams out of Hortense. Inside row 6, car number 11, Jesse Weeks out of Adrian, Georgia. Outside of him is the 18T of Connor Taylor out of Brunswick, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be your first heat race for the night in the Crown Vic Series. Street stock feature to staging. Street stock feature to staging, please. Coming off of turn 4-3 is Dylan from Auburndale Speedway, our flagman tonight, going to call the green. Jason Garver with a good jump off for the start. Into turn 1. Gets a little bit loose, allowing that 9J of Justin Stevens to get launched down the back stretch. The 19 Bates car close behind him. Oh, getting together right there off of turn 4, the 301, the 54, and the 14. Meanwhile, Stevens and Bates taking off of turns 1 and 2. Coming off of turn 4, the 19 getting high wide, but not able to catch up on the Stevens car as they go into turn number 1. Got a car stalled off of turn 1 up in the high wall. He's able to maintain it. He's limping out of the way.
Yeah, he might make it out.
They're getting stretched out from turn 4 to turn 2. Door to door, the 12J and the 14 under the stripe going into turn number 1. They're going to beat and bang coming off of 1 into turn 2. They're still door to door. 12 gets loose. Has to let the 14 of Guyton go around. Mr. Turner Davis in that 14 car, one of the closest finishes in our Crown Vic Series this year. Just a few thousandths of a second win over Jason Garver in the 301, going to retire to the infield. Justin Stevens with a commanding lead going into 1 of the second place Bates car off of turn number 4. Almost a straightaway advantage. Cars are settling in. Two to go for Justin Stevens in that car number 9. Justin Stevens coming off a 3, playing that pedal just right. Going into the turn, drifting up just a little bit, smooth as he can be. Oh, 19, number 2 position there. 19 Bates getting loose off of turn 4. He's in the infield, out of the field. White flag down. Justin Stevens in the 9 car. Going to take the checkered for our heat race 1. Congratulations, Justin Stevens. Out of Guyton, Georgia. Car 144, Mr. William Gross out of Bloomingdale going to take that second position, and followed by Turner Davis out of Guyton as well, not car number 14. Street stock feature, you should be going to staging.
Single file did not roll in yet, so we need to discuss this. They're saying that Chris Killer actually qualified the car. He's getting his
All right, ladies and gentlemen, heat race number 2. Our Crown Vics are about to come off the grid. Inside row 1, car number 24, Jeffrey Lynn out of Baxley, Georgia. Outside of him, the W00 of Robbie Shell out of Madison, Georgia. Inside row 2, 188, will be Chris Keller piloting that Crown Vic for our heat race number 2. Outside of him, the 4W, last night's winner, Wesley Watkins out of Adrian, Georgia. Inside row 3 would be the 69X of Vincent Moody out of Cobbtown. Outside of him is the 111 of Jason Frame out of Savannah, Georgia. Inside row 4, car number 30C, Mr. Cody Moody out of Darien. Outside of him, Mr. Joey Watson out of St. John's, Florida, car number 73. Inside row 5, car number 55, Austin Peoples out of Vidalia. Outside of him will be the 08 of Cheyenne Seifert out of Brunswick, Georgia. Inside row 6, the 2T of David Townsend out of Savannah. And outside of him, the car number 23, Rodney Sellers out of Swainsboro, Georgia. The order is set. They'll come off the back stretch and come to the green. We'll have 8 laps for this heat race that'll set the field for our 25-lap feature. All 24 entries will start the race tonight. This will just set their place inside the feature. All right, looking them over, looks good. Flagman's checking them out. Thank you. On the outside, Mr. Robbie Shell going to take an early lead going into turn number 1. Mr. Jeffrey Lynn going to come off the turn 4, going to keep that lead, maintain it. Mr. Robbie Shell outside, just on the inside of that car number 180 of Chris Keller as they go into turn number 1. That 24 of Jeffrey Lynn losing just a little bit of his bumper right there, flapping in the face of that Robbie Shellman 00W00 woohoo car. Mr. Chris Keller coming off of turn 3, going to look low. Going to get just a little outside. Collect himself back up. And meanwhile, the 69X of Vincent Moody going to close the distance for that 4th position. Further on back, we got one going around on the inside of the infield. We stay green. .188 of Chris Keller getting high and loose, allowing the 69 of Vincent Moody to get around him for that 3rd position. But here comes Chris Keller on the backside. Coming down the back stretch on the inside of Moody. They're going to be door-to-door, drag racing down the back stretch. Give that position to Keller as he goes into turn 3. They're still door-to-door. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Lynn coming off of turn number 4 just about loses that as he goes up under the cross. All right, Jeffrey Lynn catching my breath again, getting choked up here in the stand section going on the field. Jeffrey Lynn coming off of turn number 2, maintaining the lead right in front of Mr. Robbie Shell. They'll come back to 2 to go. Further on back in that 5th and 6th position, you've got door-to-door action coming off of turn number 4, the 23 of Rodney Sellers taking that inside position. Coming down the back stretch, Sellers on the inside of Chris Keller. Unable to make the pass. Chris Keller getting wide, coming off of turn number 4, just about loses it. Gets down into Rodney Sellers. They're door-to-door going across the start-finish line. 1 to go for Jeffrey Lynn. Sellers is right all over top of Chris Keller as they go out of turns 2 and 1 and 2. Keller trying to get around Vincent Moody as they come off of 3. Checker goes to Mr. Jeffrey Lynn in that car 24, followed by Robbie Shell. Vincent Moody and Chris Keller and Rodney Sellers round out your top 5.